Welcome back to Hardball. Now for the favorite part of the show of many, the politics fix. Chuck Todd is NBC's political director. He knows all. Eugene Robinson is Washington Post columnist, who is one of the best columnists. It may be decided soon the best columnist in the country. And Norah O'Donnell is MSNBC's chief Washington correspondent. Thank you all for joining us. I want you all to pay close attention to this, and to the extent your reportorial ability allows you, decide which you think, based upon your reporting, would be the favorite option and the least favorite option, and the ones in the middle for Senator Clinton at this point. Number one, Senator Clinton wins the nomination of the Democratic Party, then goes on to win the general election. Is that the best scenario for Senator Clinton? Well, probably. Number two, Obama wins the nomination, but McCain wins the general election. Three, Clinton wins the nomination and McCain wins the general election. Or four, Hillary Clinton, well, Obama wins the nomination and the election. Keep that board up there while we each go through it. Please hold that up there. Gene Robinson, for Hillary Clinton, what's the worst case scenario for her? Is it number four, that Barack Obama becomes the greatest Democratic president in modern times, and everybody forgets her husband and forgets she ever ran?
Well, it's the worst case if, you know, for her, her chances of ever being president, right?
Okay,
so if she wants to be president, that's the worst thing for her. If she wants to be remembered as, you know, a great Democrat and a great figure in the party, then, you know, an option in which a Democrat wins is better.
You have threaded the needle here. No, I want to go, before I get to Nora, I want to go to Chuck. Knowing the Clinton, can we look at that again? I think people will forget this interesting bit of graphics we have here. We should all watch it again. Let's take a look at it. Look at that. Hold it up there, please. Obviously, Hillary Clinton would like to win the whole shebang, at this point even, when it's really a long shot at this point. I think we'd all agree. But would she be happier having McCain win the presidency ultimately, or the man she's fighting hardest right now? Because she keeps saying McCain's qualified to be commander-in-chief. He's another lover of the country, another patriot, seemingly to the exclusion of the other guy, Barack. Does she really prefer Barack over John McCain to be the next president?
Look, she is in a fight for the nomination, a heated fight. We've gotten to the point where the two sides now hate each other more than they hate the eventual enemy. And right now she is in an alliance, whether they have formed it officially or not.
With McCain.
McCain and Clinton are in an alliance because McCain knows how to run against Clinton, has been preparing to run against Clinton in a general election. Running against Obama is trickier, it's harder, it's different, it's not something he's ready for. He would love to run against Clinton. Clinton, of course, wants to prove that Obama can't beat McCain, so needs to make McCain a stronger and stronger nominee. So it is her path to the nomination. I think we can't read her mind and sit there and say, gee, she certainly hopes Obama doesn't get
pass,
but I think that's right. Does she want to be president?
If he wins, she'll never be president.
Correct.
Right.
If he wins, she'll get the nomination 4 years from now.
Apologies to a guy who called the Davidson game yesterday before the game. He called Davidson over Georgetown.
Well, that is a long
so, you know, Chuck does know all. However,
okay, the Tar Heels all the way. Let me go to Nora. The Tar Heels will win the national championship, as they should. Let me ask you, Nora, because I know you want to talk sports. Georgetown has won many championships. Let me ask you this, Nora. When you look at this, do you go with Gene's theory that Hillary Clinton would like to be president someday? If she can't win it this time, she's still hopeful, and therefore would really, deep down, prefer that the door be kept open by the election of John McCain, who will only serve perhaps 4 years and certainly will be vulnerable to an attack from the Democrats 4 years later?
Yes, to answer your question on your test, Chris, it's choice number two, which is that she would rather have Obama win the nomination and then have McCain win the general election, so that in 2012 she could come back and run against McCain. I think that clearly would be the second best case scenario, other than her winning the whole thing.
Well, but that also fits into the strategy. By the way, this is not idle discussion, because I've been looking at the performance of the Clinton campaign, and I completely understand why they're doing it, if this is their ambition. They are very tough on Obama. They're not cutting him much slack. I detected a little cutting and slack today, but they're really going after him this week, saying he's the one running the dirty campaign. He's the one trying to destroy her character, when they're out there really being tough with Obama.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, I'm looking at how they excluded him from the cotillion of loyal Americans. That's a pretty mean. Here's President Clinton talking on Friday about Hillary and McCain facing off in the general election. He's almost a dating service here now. Look at this. He's putting them together.
I think it'd be a great thing if we had an election where you had two people who love this country and were devoted to the interests of the country, and people could actually ask themselves who's right on these issues, instead of all this other stuff that always seems to intrude itself on our politics.
what's that, eHarmony? Is he putting these people together? They seem like a perfect match, and he's one of these people with the computer saying, you know, you're both loyal to the country, you both love America, you're both qualified to be commander-in-chief. Why don't you two run against each other?
Well, look, the Clinton campaign will argue that last Monday she actually did criticize McCain, but there hasn't been a lot of criticism of McCain of late from the Clinton campaign. But read more carefully into what Bill Clinton was talking about. I don't think he was trying to question Barack Obama's patriotism. I think he was talking about the race issue, because the audience was older white men. This was a VFW hall.
You won't have all this stuff.
All this stuff. All this stuff was code for... No. All this stuff means you won't have to deal with this extra issue that will come up in the general. Okay. And he's almost apologizing for it. He's not saying he wants it to be that way, but you won't have to deal with this other stuff.
When it comes to the size of the baggage load, you don't go with Clintons. You know, when they have to put their stuff on that scale at the airport, it's heavy. We'll be right back with a roundtable with more of the Politics Fix. You're watching Hardball, only on MSNBC. Over 40.